is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion, 3 times over, 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds.
Well, with the best, I gotta give it to him, bud. Right? Hands down, the best right now. I don't think nobody needs to flush him no more. I mean, you kind of gotta give him respect no matter what. You gotta give him respect. He just went up 2 weight classes what people said he couldn't do. He's doing everything that people said he can't do.
I've been a world champion, as you know, and I've been a 3-division world champion. I've only won one of the belts. I don't know what it is to be undisputed. I don't know that feeling. Do you understand? What he did last night is unbelievable.
StephenASmith fired back at Floyd Mayweather for minimizing Terence Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez. Smith emphasized that Crawford's achievement was historic, reminding everyone that no other fighter in boxing history has become undisputed across multiple weight divisions the way Crawford has. He argued that Crawford's legacy was built on hard work and undeniable greatness, and that his win over Canelo was far more than just another notch on his record. It was the defining moment that cemented his place among the all-time greats. Smith made it clear that Mayweather's dismissive remarks could never diminish what Crawford accomplished.
Is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion, 3 times over, 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance.
Jeff Mayweather didn't hold back when reacting to the shock Crawford delivered to Canelo, stressing that the loss will forever impact Canelo's legacy. He explained that Canelo was the undisputed ruler of his division, carrying both dominance and prestige. Yet he was humbled by a challenger who dared to step up in weight and confront him on his own turf. For Jeff, this wasn't just a minor setback. It was a lasting stain that history will always attach to Canelo's name. He pointed out that great champions are remembered for their defining moments, and unfortunately for Canelo, his defining moment became a crushing defeat at the hands of Crawford.
But he was in discussion certainly with Chavez. What does this do to his legacy? Because I don't think he got, the Floyd fight didn't give him, people didn't really look down on him because even though he had 40 fights, he was still, fighting one of the greatest ever in absolute master. And Bivol, he went up weight classes to win. But now he's fighting a smaller guy, a great fighter, but a smaller guy. Does this damage his legacy in any way? And even though it's another, future Hall of Famer, still losing a guy come up a couple weight classes, it kind of makes you seem not as great as you might have been.
StephenASmith was blown away by Crawford's victory and poured out his admiration without restraint. He highlighted the fact that he witnessed the historic moment firsthand, which made it even more powerful for him personally. Smith declared that no fighter in boxing history has accomplished what Terence Crawford just did, moving up in weight to dominate a champion as established and formidable as Canelo. He described it as a career-defining milestone that separates Crawford from his peers and guarantees this night a permanent place in boxing's storied legacy. To Smith, it wasn't simply a fight, it was a turning point in how true greatness is measured in the sport.
This was Terence Bud Crawford moving up 2 weight divisions, really 3 in my mind, because he only fought 1 fight at the junior middleweight division. So he's really moving up from 147 pounds, okay? Terence Bud Crawford moving up to the 168-pound limit in an effort to claim the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world from the grasp of Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, I was there because let me tell you something right now. There's very, very few sporting events in the world that are better than a super fight in Vegas. I can tell you that right now. There's very, very few events. Props to Nick Khan of the WWE.
Crawford's trainer was firm in his message after the fight. His fighter has nothing left to prove. In his eyes, Terence has reached a level where respect should be absolute, yet some critics continue to withhold it. That frustration only highlighted the reality that even after dismantling one of the sport's biggest icons, Crawford still faces battles outside the ring. The trainer made it clear that Crawford isn't focused on chasing another opponent right now. His performance against Canelo alone is more than enough to secure his place among the greats. For Crawford, this moment wasn't about collecting names. It was about building a legacy that no one can deny.
Terence Crawford and his well-renowned trainer, two-time trainer of the year, future Hall of Fame trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, recently did an interview in which Bomac stated that a fight is not happening. And this particular fight is a fight that everybody wanted to see Canelo Alvarez take, and Canelo Alvarez refused to take this fight with a 28-year-old two-division world champion, reigning WBC light heavyweight, former two-time WBC super middleweight, the Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer, who's one of my favorite fighters and a great person, David, the Mexican Ecuadorian monster Benavidez, who is 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. Stands at 6'2" with 75-inch arm reach and fights at 175. But the entire time David Benavidez was fighting at 168, Canelo Alvarez was brought up and he never accepted the fight. And so with that said, now people are trying to project this fight on Terence Crawford. And they're saying that Terence Crawford needs to take the fight. So Bomac yesterday did an interview and Bomac said they're not fighting David Benavidez. And so now people are pushing this notion that Terence Crawford is ducking and Terence Crawford is scared of David Benavidez. And if he don't fight David Benavidez, according to Boxing News 24,
Timothy Bradley delivered one of the boldest takes yet, placing Crawford directly alongside, and even above, Floyd Mayweather in the all-time conversation. He argued that Crawford's name now deserves to sit at the very top when discussing the greatest to ever step in the ring. For Bradley, this wasn't just about Crawford defeating Canelo, it was about reshaping the very meaning of pound-for-pound supremacy. He acknowledged Floyd's mastery of the sport in his era, but emphasized that Crawford proved he could reach an even higher level by conquering Canelo at his absolute peak. In Bradley's view, this victory elevated Crawford into a realm reserved only for the sport's most legendary figures.
It might be too late now. It might be too late, because guess what? He's done. Ain't nothing else he needs to do. Ain't nothing else he needs to do in boxing. Yep, y'all doubt him now? Y'all doubt him now? See, I saw some of y'all goofies on y'all channels. You come here and you get the real over here. That's what you get over here. You want the real? You want a real breakdown from a real fighter, a Hall of Famer? That's what you do. You come right here and you gonna get the real, and you gonna get the truth. Dang it, that's what you gonna get. Leave them other lames alone and come right on over here. Yeah, and get the truth and nothing but the truth. I've been trying to tell y'all for years about this. Been trying to tell y'all for years about Terence Crawford. Everybody put his resume down.